Hello, dear friends. Welcome to this program, Moments with God, where I try to share with you in a simple and humble way my reflections on the daily Mass readings with the hope that it helps both of us in our spiritual journey and in trying to find God and His friendship. If you would like, then you may please subscribe to this channel. Go to the end of the video, and when you find my picture there, please click on that and you will find an option there to subscribe, and you may please subscribe for it. Thank you. Interestingly, yesterday only we were speaking about how the glories of God are always connected with the sufferings, which is what Saint Peter had mentioned in his letter, and also Jesus had mentioned when Peter asked him about what would they get when they have sacrificed everything and given up their houses, parents, mother, father, land, etc. And Jesus told him that you will get 100-fold both of persecutions and of the reward in eternal life or in the age to come. And very interestingly, I had mentioned to you yesterday that in Christian life, getting closer to God always involves suffering. There is no resurrection without the way of the cross, without the suffering, without the cross. The resurrection and the joy of the resurrection comes only after we have gone through that process. Many of us do not understand that and do not want to accept that because suffering is always painful and somehow we want to avoid it. But today, the gospel very clearly speaks about, and I will just read out to you, and also the contradiction in the gospel as far as the disciples are concerned. So I will just read out to you. The disciples were on their way going up to Jerusalem, and Jesus went ahead of them. They were amazed, and those who followed were afraid. Taking the 12 aside again, he began to tell them what was going to happen to him. And he said, "Behold, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be handed over to the chief priests and the scribes, and they will condemn him to death and hand him over to the Gentiles, who will mock him, spit upon him, scourge him, and put him to death. But after 3 days he will rise." This is today's gospel in continuation of what we had yesterday when Jesus was speaking about the 100-fold rewards along with persecutions. And today he speaks quite clearly about what is going to happen to him when they go to Jerusalem. But you know what happens? In the very next sentence, what we read is this: "Then James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came to Jesus and said to him, 'Teacher, we want you to do for us whatever we ask of you.' He replied, 'What do you wish me to do for you?' They answered him, 'Grant that in your glory we may sit one of your right hand and the other at your left.'" Now listen to this. Jesus has been speaking about his suffering, being spat upon, being handed over, condemned to death. Then he will die. And what are these two disciples interested in? Very interesting. The words also, you see the words they use are, "We came to Jesus and said to him, 'Teacher, we want you to do for us whatever we ask of you.'" And this is what we do in our prayers often. We simply want God to do for us what we want him to do. Very clearly, these two disciples who are so close to Jesus, who have been walking with Jesus, who have been following Jesus, who have been listening to Jesus, and directly from his mouth they have heard that he has to undergo suffering and death. And still, where is their attention? Their attention is not at all on his suffering. They're not actually following him. They are following him only to have an advantage for themselves. What is their advantage? They ask Jesus, you must do for us what we ask of you. You must simply do it as we ask God. You must listen to my prayer. Why are you not answering my prayer? And what is their request? That one must sit on your right and one must sit on your left. So that when you are in glory, we also want to sit in glory with you. This is what I was trying to say yesterday, and this I told you also, that this is a theme that will keep recurring again and again throughout the gospel, and this is one of the important points for our spiritual life, that without going through what Jesus very clearly says in the gospel, we cannot sit one on his right and one on his left. We demand from Jesus, do this for me, or we demand from God, do this for me. But God also demands something from us. Are we prepared to do that? He demanded that from his son, and and his son Jesus did comply with what his father asked of him. Are we ready to do that? And as I said, without suffering there is no resurrection. And if you would like to subscribe to this channel, you may do it now. And I would like to just inform you that along on this channel you will also find my book Tweeting to God being read by me, which you may listen to and enjoy too. Thank you.